Well, appreciative of what this team has done to this point, and looking forward to coming back. We got 2 more opportunities at Camp Randall, and looking forward to getting a chance to play back here and against, my opinion, is a talented Illinois team, and ton of respect for Lovey and who he is as a person and who he is as a coach, and so need to have another good week of preparation. That's what I've liked from our group. They've done a nice job of kind of locking in on the task of the week, and looking forward to doing that and finding areas. There's plenty of them that we got to keep working and improve, get better.
Paul, where do you feel your running game stands right now? Or I guess over the last few weeks after that Michigan game when you guys couldn't get much movement and couldn't do much on the ground.
I think there's some, we're improving in areas. I think that the line has gotten better. I think that the tight ends, fullbacks, have done some good things. I think the backs are getting better. I don't think it's where we want. I would not say we've arrived yet. It's not where we want it to be, but I think it's given us been a big part of the last few games and given us a chance to do some things offensively. And so I like the progress, but it's not where we want it to be yet. We haven't arrived yet, in my opinion.
Paul, even though Wisconsin now controls its path to a potential Big Ten West title, all the guys this morning talked about just focusing on Illinois, and you mentioned it, that they've done a good job focusing on the task each week. Why do you think this team has been able to do that so successfully this year?
Well, I think that they're a group that's smart, and the only thing that you can focus on or should focus on are things you can control. And we all know that the season's a journey, and you want to enjoy that and embrace that. And at the end of the year, you earn the right for whatever it is that you get. And I'm glad to hear they're saying that, and I think their actions have been that. And that's really all that matters, is what do we do with the opportunity of the day. And in a season, you can also say the opportunity of a week. And I think it's the way to actually enjoy the season and focus on the things that you can control. So I'm glad to hear that. We got to make sure our actions do that too.
When you look at your tailbacks, especially Corey, are they getting what's blocked out of runs? Are they getting more? Are they getting less? What do you think?
There's been some, like I think it was this first or second run we had last week. We didn't get this second puller around, and Corey made more out of it, bounced it, and so there's definitely been some time where we're getting more. And I think there are also some runs where if we just can be a little bit more patient, we may get him started a little bit more and then see what he can do. So I think that I've, particularly Corey, I think he's done a good job of taking what's happened the week before and trying to learn from it. He's been fun to be around the last month, and that he's seeing it, and his expectations, he set a high bar for himself, so I like that. And he sees, and even just talking to him through the game, he's I was a little impatient on that one, or don't get off of that one. That was on me. But I think that it's both. I think that there's a couple you can go back and say, all right, might have been able to get more. But clearly, I think starting with Corey, but Dari did it the week before, and Bradrick on a couple that we're getting more than what it's blocked for, and that's always good.
Jason. Paul, where do you feel like Endicott is mentally from a confidence standpoint after the misses he's had the last couple weeks?
Yeah, I think last weekend was probably pretty good for him in the sense that came out and missed an early one, but then kept coming back at it. And so I think that he's working through it, right? And yet I think that he's in he seemed good, you know, and didn't seem to panic on the first miss, and knew the odds of him getting another opportunity were going to be pretty big, and that was what he should focus on, and I thought he did that.
And how do you kind of handle that as a coach and as a team? Do you feel like the need to kind of encourage a guy like that that's struggling a little bit?
Yeah, I think you should do that with all your players. You know what I mean? That there is. I think it would be really bad of us as coaches if we put a guy out there that didn't care and was going to try to screw it up. And therefore, if you know they're doing all that they can, I think your job as a coach is try to help them. And I think that more than just words of encouragement, hey, hang in there, good luck, give them some specifics. You know, in his case, you know, the footwork or the timing of it. You know, sometimes when you try to do something, you rush it. You know, and that happened. It happened to Bart on one of the passes. He got through it real quick, and you just got to slow it down. And so I think if you can give him something to focus on that's tangible, and also encourage them, and a part of encouragement is knowing they're going to get another opportunity. And so I think he's getting back to Andrew. I think he's working through it and doing the right things as far as working through it. And I think that, you know, I feel like we do a good job of coaching that area and trying to help them have specifics, and then he gets the opportunity to go out and continue trying to take advantage of the opportunities that he gets for himself and the ones to help our team.
Paul, you mentioned patience for a running back on a particular play, but does that also translate to, for example, Corey has had some stretches where 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard, 2 yard, then he'll pop one. And also patience for you that it may not be working, but I can't get away from it because it's going to hurt us.
Yeah, I think that on all fronts, you try to figure out why was it a negative play, or why was it a 1 yard, 2 yard, and it could be, you know, we misfit something in the block, you know, with the blockers and the blocking scheme, or the back, you know, he bounced out of the hole too quick. So I think if you can identify it, that helps you come back to it again. Or sometimes what they're doing is taking away that specific scheme, where they then vulnerable, you know, as they start to rob Peter to pay Paul, how can you take advantage of it? So I think you try to factor in all of them. Did we miss something that we can correct easily? Or we just, you know, there's sometimes where you're just getting beat. You know, we can't handle that matchup. Then I think you have to get off of it. So I think you try to factor in what was the cause of the negative. And conversely, sometimes, why was that a big hit? Did they fit it exactly how we thought they would, and therefore it's got a chance to come back again? Or they screwed up, we got a big hit, but don't think that it's going to be there all day.
Andy, in the back.
Paul, how would you describe your team's margin for error?
Small, right? I mean, I think we've played good teams, and against good teams, you're going to have a smaller margin of error, and I think that's where I was energized with, you know, last week. You could even say the special teams. You know, I thought that, you know, the specialists, you know, and Anthony and PJ particularly had some really big plays, you know, where we were able to flip the field. And I think that, you know, right now we have not been an explosive offense. And so, you know, right now we're not putting a ton of points on the board. And that means then, you know, defense has to put some more pressure on the defense, and then, you know, special teams, and if we can flip the field. And that's also what makes it fun, is that we need everyone, all units and all guys, to contribute on those, because you can look back at a lot of our games and say these 4, 5, 6 plays make the difference. And we got to find a way to keep helping everyone get better, and But right now, I'd say that what we've done this year, our margin of error is small.
Within that, why are you so good at avoiding penalties? What characteristics go into that?
I think that, our guys, our coaches coach and want to coach within the rules. Our players understand it, and I think that's something that if we can continue to be that, it'll be good. But I think it's awareness to what the rules are and coaching it and players taking that coaching.
Jason.
Coach, Illinois still had some struggles this year, but have you seen anything different or with the team or the program since Lovey took charge?
Well, I think, as you look at it, you dive into it and you really don't, yesterday was the first day where you really start doing a ton of work on Illinois. I don't know on some of these things, but my guess is, in knowing Lovey, that there's a lot happening. And I've always thought Illinois, every time we played against them, they've got a lot of talented players. And I'm seeing on film now the coaching and still a lot of talent. And so I'm sure he's having a huge impact on them. But I think it's a really talented team. I know they're well coached, and it'll be a challenge for us.
Jeff.
Paul, when you look back on the red zone chances you had against Northwestern, was it just the basic reasons that you guys weren't able to get touchdowns as much as you wanted, like maybe a missed throw, a missed block, things like? Was there anything unusual that happened there?
Nothing unusual. Nothing. We didn't see something that we didn't expect to see. We just didn't make the play. Alex and Jazz didn't connect on the one play. We didn't win on the one going to the other end zone to our left. And then, we found a way. I thought it was a big play Bart had going in on it. So I think we didn't execute we didn't make the plays at that time.
Dennis.
Paul, with all the injuries on defense, how are you able to maintain that level of intensity every week in the play? Another week, 7 points.
Well, I think that the coaches have done a really good job. Justin, Tibbs, Jimmy, and Noke have done a really good job of having a plan that the players understand, that handles a lot of the things that the offenses are given to us. And when players understand a good scheme, they go out and play. And I think the level, the energy, the guys like playing. And so I think when they get the opportunity to play, they enjoy that. And certainly you're doing it with different guys as the season goes on. But I think they all enjoy playing. I think they've got enough pride in that each individual doesn't want to be the reason why we decline or don't have the success. So I think it's people making the difference right now.
And then you look at Sheehy at nose tackle. You want to, I guess, assess his performance, being able to step in there.
He's really good, and I think the D-line in general has been such a foundational piece of our defense, and certainly don't have the numbers that maybe the linebackers get, but they are a big part of it. And actually, Connor was as productive as any D-lineman we've had in the last game, and it was big. I think if you say one play that maybe changed the game for us, he and Garrett Dooley were in on that. But it's a group that's unselfish. And they work, and I think they're talented. And so our D-line has been really an important part of our defense.
Paul, is Jeff George Jr. anything like Jeff George Sr.?
Jeff George Sr. is a good player, and certainly Junior is. When you watch him on film, he's doing some really good things. I think that time will tell on that one, but he's You know, they came through as a clutch. You know, they needed to have a drive, and it was a clutch drive. And certainly it's more than just a quarterback, but he's he looks good to me on film.
Maybe it was just a coincidence, but the first college football playoff poll came out, and all the top teams scored 60 or 70 points over the weekend. Have style points become more important now that playoffs here?
I think you all might be able to answer that better than I would. You know, that it's, I don't know, and really don't spend a lot of time trying to figure that out. I don't know. If we can find a way to score one more point than our opponent each week, that's big. That's the only guarantee to victory.
Paul, there was a punt return, Jazz. The ball came up short. He pointed to it on the ground, a signal to keep people away. Fielded the ball, ran. They blew it dead. What was the explanation you got from the officials there on that? Did he do what he was taught to do?
Yes, and what he was taught to do is legal.
And the explanation you got was?
That it doesn't matter because it's legal. It's time. I don't know how you follow that one up.
I can't. I can't follow that.
There's a lot of pressure on now. Like, it better.
I had a Ryan Ramczyk question for you, so it's nowhere
Love
near
him.
that.
Glad we got him on our team.